All right, welcome back to another video. My name is Ian Major. I'm an entrepreneur, Bitcoin pleb, and all-around raging capitalist. And in today's video, I'm excited to be serving up a tutorial on none other than the Muun Wallet. Muun has really a fascinating design philosophy that I truly believe offers a glimpse into what we'll see more and more often as it relates to Bitcoin usage and adoption when considering these sort of two sides of Bitcoin, right? The on-chain transactions as well as transactions you can make on the Lightning Network. So in today's video, we're going to go through some of those kind of unique features and just mindset of how Muun is going about building their product. I really thoroughly enjoyed researching this video. I think their blog and some of the content they put out is really interesting and informative. And so today you're not just going to learn kind of how to use the Muun Wallet, but I suspect you're probably also going to pick up a few things about Bitcoin itself, which always makes doing these types of videos very interesting. For those who are returning to the channel, welcome back, my friends, as always. It is great to have you. And for those new to the channel, welcome to you as well. I know many of you are not subscribed, and so I hope you enjoy this content and consider subscribing so that these messages and tools can make it to more folks on their quest for becoming financially sovereign, which is what this channel is all about. I as of this sort of week, am stepping my posting frequency up to 2 videos a week. There's just a ton of exciting stuff to cover, so you don't want to miss anything. With all of that intro out of the way, though, let's go ahead and jump in first and talk about what makes the Muun Wallet unique. All right, so for those of you who just want to get to the tutorial, I've provided some timestamps in the description down below, so feel free to skip ahead. But I think as a Bitcoin user, it's really important to understand the tools that we're using on a day-to-day basis, to understand the design philosophy and the trade-offs, right? You can't have it all, as we've seen, and so with every different solution, the decisions that are made inevitably carry trade-offs. I think it's really important to be aware of that before you decide to use really any wallet. And so I want to just take a couple minutes and talk about that based on my research of Muun. So this is based on kind of what I have gathered from their website, from their blog, from other sources as well. But I really do like the overarching design philosophy. What they've done is they've essentially, you get one balance, like you get one single unified Bitcoin balance from which you can send and receive both on-chain Bitcoin transactions and Lightning Network transactions. And I hypothesize that this is a glimpse into what we'll see in the future more and more. This abstraction away of the complexity of having to think of like, okay, do I do an on-chain transaction? Do I do a Lightning Network transaction? I think gradually we'll anyways see a lot of low-value transactions migrating over to Lightning anyways. But I really like kind of what they've done with that. And you'll see that in action when we get to the tutorial. So Muun itself is a 2 of 2 multi-signature wallet. And so, it is a self-custody tool. So meaning you own one of those 2 of 2 keys on your phone, so on your device. Muun will never have that key. However, Muun also has a key to that 2 of 2, which allows for kind of easy day-to-day transaction. And so this is kind of the balance they're reaching. Imagine if you just had that one key sitting on your phone and something happened to your phone, right? Your funds could therefore be potentially compromised. So the fact that Muun has a key helps with that. But the fact that, of course, you have a key on your device ensures that, Muun can't use your funds in any way, shape, or form, of course. So that's, I actually like that. I think that's nice. And I'm not going to go into the gory detail now, but they've provided a really thoughtful approach to recovery options in this interest of making your funds truly self-custodial. And so they have this concept of this emergency kit, which really is an idea that your mnemonic phrase, so we're all used to writing down a 12-word or 24-word mnemonic phrase that uniquely captures our sort of private key. What Muun and many others have kind of identified is that as we get more complex spending conditions, as the Bitcoin ecosystem evolves, things like the Lightning Network, right? You have this two of two sort of setup by which you open a payment channel. You have the Taproot upgrades that have sort of passed and will be activated later this year. You're going to see you're going to see more kind of smart contract functionality on Bitcoin as well. Multi-sig itself is a good example. So with these more complex spending conditions, for you to be able to go and locate your funds or your unspent transaction outputs on the blockchain, which is really just what a private key does for you. It helps you get to those unspent transaction outputs. The mnemonics phrase may or may not be enough. You also have to know the kind of derivation path supported by the wallet that you used to create that, wallet and private key. And so this brings an interesting variable into the mix, that we may be heading towards this world where a mnemonic seed phrase really isn't good enough as a backup option, and you need other context that allows you to isolate your funds. And this is in a world where you want to take this completely outside of Muun and sort of replicate and recover your wallet outside of Muun. So again, very, very interesting concept and very forward thinking in that regard. Muun's also baked in a number of other very thoughtful features, particularly around Lightning and some of the privacy features there. Their fee estimator is mempool based, meaning they go and look at the mempool in its current state in order to assess the most kind of competitive fees. A lot of other estimators simply use the last block or past kind of fee information to inform the current fees that you would be willing to pay, and that could work fine in a stable sort of fee environment. But if the fees are kind of fluctuating a bit and the mempool is fluctuating a bit, you ideally would want to get as close to what's happening as possible. Now, with all of that good, there are also limitations and trade-offs to be aware, as with any solution. And so in exchange for the really nice UX and abstraction away of a lot of the complexity, particularly as it relates to kind of managing Lightning payment channels, it comes at a cost of kind of less flexibility in that regard. Muun Wallet, at least currently, can't be connected to your own node. So there's certainly kind of that dimension and element. There's also some trade-offs as it relates to having this single balance. So kind of behind the scenes, Muun does have to do some gymnastics to make kind of all the fees work for everyone, particularly as the Lightning Network is still rather nascent, albeit growing exponentially. And then there's other kind of limited coin control, for example, which again, may very well be on the roadmap. So all in all, I really, really like the overarching design philosophy of Muun. I really think this is going to make things very easy for kind of an average user. But with that flexibility, or with that ease of use, comes trade-offs in the form of things like not being able to connect to your own node, and some of the other pieces we discussed. So let's leave that here for now, and let's jump into the actual tutorial so you can see the wallet for yourself. All right. So the first time opening Muun, you will see the following: self-custodial wallet for Bitcoin and Lightning. If you have a wallet that you wish to import, you can hit that option. Otherwise, for most folks, the intent will likely be to go ahead and create a new wallet. So I'll go ahead and do that. And it will prompt me to create create a PIN. So I will go ahead and do that. And so after confirming your PIN, it will ask for the fingerprint. And you created a new wallet. Welcome to Muun. Let's go. And so that's it, right? So that was pretty quick. Now let's orient ourselves. So we've got our overall Bitcoin balance. Now, this, as we were discussing earlier in the video, spans across both on-chain and Lightning. So very kind of simple, sleek view here. You can receive and send. Before we do that, though, let's make sure we inspect the security elements and back up our wallet. So we can go ahead and hit back up the wallet. And you'll see there's these sort of three components here. So back up your wallet. Number two, creating an alternative backup, and then creating what is called an emergency kit, which I was alluding to earlier. So let's click into backup your wallet. And this is essentially a recovery option within the context of Muun, meaning this is a convenient way to restore your wallet if, for example, you change your phone, something like that, right? Or you have to reinstall Muun for whatever reason. You can say, and this is through email, so, for what that's worth, you can say, I don't want to use my email, and say I'm sure, and come back to it later if you want. Or if you say start, you would put in your recovery email, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm gonna actually just say I don't want to use my email, and I'm sure. And so I've skipped that part, but I am going to go ahead and create an alternative backup. So it says write down a code on paper to recover your wallet. And so it says back up your wallet. It's going to present me with a code, and I'm going to write that down and be right back. So it'll present finally after you put in the recovery code again, which it will prompt you to do. It then presents you with two things you must understand. I understand I will need my recovery code if I forget my password, and I understand Muun doesn't keep a copy of my recovery code, and it can't be changed. So really important, write this down. Muun doesn't have it. The password that's being referred to in this first bit is something you would generate in the first step if you're using the email method as well. So we can go ahead and hit finish. And it says success. You can now recover it using your recovery code. Excellent. But let's also now create an emergency kit. And so this importantly is, as it says, a single document, stored kind of wherever. And so our private keys are securely encrypted, both private keys, right? The private key that's sitting on my phone, on my device, and the private key that Muun has, right? Because this is a 2 of 2 multi-sig. So both of those keys are securely encrypted through the recovery code. So that, this is a PDF, it can be stored wherever. And so this gives not just your keys, but the other context that is important, such as, transaction output descriptors, when it comes to the more complex spending conditions we were talking about, such as with multi-sig setups. So we can go ahead and hit create your emergency kit, and it'll present us with a number of ways to store it. I mean, we could save it on Drive, we could save it wherever. So I'm going to just save it manually, and I'll be right back. All right, and so after that, it'll actually have a 6-digit number on the top right of your emergency kit document. And so you'll put that in, and it says success. You have complete undisputed ownership of your Bitcoin. Again, the reason why this complete kit is more powerful than simply a mnemonic phrase is that there's other context and information about, how you generated the wallet, what sort of, software you use to do that, what kind of wallet is it? Is it multi-sig? Is it single sig? All of this helps to ensure you are able to find your funds on the blockchain if you wish to operate completely outside of Muun. So let's go ahead and hit excellent. And we are done there. So again, you can access that at the bottom with the security panel. But I really like what they've done with this more complete emergency kit backup. I think that's really nice. And again, reflective of where we're heading with more and more complex spending conditions in Bitcoin. We can go over to the settings as well. Can change a couple settings here. For our Bitcoin unit, let's use sats. Main currency we've got currently as US dollars. There's also this Lightning Network advanced settings. Now, turbo channels, this is actually a pretty important setting. It is on by default, which is, I think, interesting. What this basically is by having it on, it's kind of saying, hey, like, I am happy, Muun, for you to kind of dynamically, create new channels with me, or with, my kind of Lightning sort of, node here, if you will, in order to make the payments as seamless and immediate as possible. And so if you were to turn this off, that wouldn't be the case, right? And it says receiving some Lightning payments will take much longer if you have to first conduct the on-chain transaction to open a payment channel. For example, let's say that I want to send Lightning to a friend, but given the nascent nature of the Lightning Network, there's no viable routing or route to get the funds from A to B. And so perhaps it's necessary to create a new payment channel with some other participant on the network such that my payment can be routed successfully. For that to occur, we need to conduct a on-chain transaction, which of course takes a little while to confirm if you want to get the recommended 3 confirmations for that, right? So let's say you want to send something rather instantaneously because you're using Lightning. If there's not a payment channel already in place, you will need to, Muun would need to help you basically open a new payment channel that would allow the routing to be done. So key trade-off here, I'm going to hit cancel and leave it on, but keep in mind that you can hit this learn more link about the trade-offs. When you leave it on, you are technically trusting Muun in situations where that has to occur. So by having it on, your payment is going to be sent immediately, regardless of the need to open a new payment channel. So your friend is going to receive the sats immediately. You're going to see that go immediately. But to do that, you're trusting Muun for those moments where they're kind of passing the sats along. Okay? So an important trade-off. I think most people will probably prefer to leave this on, but as always, important to understand the different trade-offs here. So let's come back. We've gone through our security and backups. We've gone through some of the settings. Now, all that's left to do is just the receive and send. So let's go into the receive option here. It does support notifications, so I'll hit enable notifications just so you can know when you're receiving things. And now I've got these 2 handy options at the top. I've got Bitcoin, which is a regular Bitcoin address, and I've got Lightning. So this is pretty cool. Let's first just receive some sort of regular Bitcoin. And so what I'll do is I'll copy the address, and I'm going to go into a different app and paste that address in. You can see this address settings option as well. Allows you to hard code an amount if you wish, and it allows you to toggle between the address type. SegWit should be the best practice. And I'm in Blue Wallet here. It can see that I've got a Bitcoin address. I am indeed going to use it for a transaction. All right, and I'm sending close to $100 US worth of sats to the address. I'll go ahead and send it now. And voila, I see in Muun, I see the notification here. I'll scan my fingerprint to get back in. And I see the payment details. So I've received 300,000 sats. And so there you go. I now have this unconfirmed transaction that is going into my single balance here. I can hit this little kind of caret at the bottom, and just see my different transactions. So I received from the sort of main Bitcoin network 300,000 sats. Now let's try that again by receiving, except this time to Lightning. And in this case, we can either straight up just copy this, this string here, or we can come down to the invoice settings and again hard code in a specific amount, right? So you have both options. The hard coded amount would therefore go into the invoice itself, and this QR code would change slightly. In this case, I'm just going to copy this, and you'll see this invoice will expire. And I'm going to come over to Muun Wallet again. It says you have a Lightning invoice on your clipboard. Would you like to use it for a transaction? I say yes. And so let's send, let's send something like 10,000 sats, right? So let me go ahead and hit pay. And indeed, it comes up right away. Bitcoin received. I flip over to Muun, and I can see my 10,000 sats. And when I go back to my transactions, I can see the 10,000 sats from the Lightning Network. So again, this shows you how that kind of combined balance works. Pretty nifty stuff. You can always click on these transactions. It actually did get a confirmation. I think I was pretty aggressive with the fees there. And so there you have it. That's how you receive funds to your Muun Wallet. And then conversely, you can send it. So you can enable the camera in order to scan QR codes. You can also simply enter text addresses. So you can paste these in. And so again, this works interoperably across on-chain and the Lightning Network. You could paste in a invoice from Lightning, or you could scan a Lightning invoice, or similarly, you could scan and or paste a regular Bitcoin address. So really, I'm just going to leave that there because it really is that simple. But there you have it. So Muun, really sleek, really quite easy, interesting kind of backups in the way that they've sort of built this out. A lot of power is going into this very, very simple interface. And you can kind of get a sense of like why this could very well be, the design philosophy we see in more and more wallets going forward. So with this tutorial out of the way, let's go ahead and close the video out. All right, so there you have it. You're now a Muun Wallet expert. Just to recap a bit, we first spoke about kind of the design philosophy that Muun has gone with, and importantly talked about the benefits, but also some of the trade-offs of those specific design choices. Net, I really like what Muun has done. I think we're going to see a lot more from Muun Wallet in the future, as well as kind of this theme emerging around interoperability and abstracting away the difference between on-chain and Lightning Network for the average user. So very, very cool stuff. I hope you found this video useful and valuable. If you did, you already know what to do. Give this video a like. Comment down below with your thoughts, questions, anything that wasn't clear, themes and topics that you'd like to see covered, different wallets that you'd like to see covered in the future. As folks will attest who are subscribed, I really do kind of pull that in to the different topics that we're cranking out. And again, if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button because you're not going to want to miss a lot of the great content we've got coming up. There is just a ton of exciting stuff to cover. I'm going to be also announcing a new sort of community that we've been building. So again, you want to be tuned in for everything. You don't want to miss a thing. But for now, we're going to leave this video here. As always, every sat counts, my friends. And until next time, I'll see you then.